health. We care about it. There's, you know, that's why I bang on. People say, oh, you're having a go at, what's his name, Dillian Whyte, because of he's with her. It's not about that. It's about our sport. It's about making sure our sport can be as safe as possible. Still sitting here, what's happened to the B sample? Where is it? You know, there's all this talk going on at the moment. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe you know better than I do. But the fact of the matter is, nothing's been said. That can't be right for our sport. Where's the transparency? It's not about privacy. It's about our sport being run correctly. It's a dangerous sport. PEDs are a dangerous thing in our sport. And we all need to know what's going on. And we don't. So am I passionate? Of course I'm passionate about it. But I want the sport to be safe. I want it to be run properly. I want the Board of Control to pull their finger out over stuff like this, because they're not. And UKAD, more importantly, you're supposed to be in charge of this. What are they doing? I've written to them saying, can you tell me what I've got to tell my boxers? Because I don't know where we are with this. We get nothing back. Nothing back. How can that be right?
But overall,
those are the words of Frank Warren, and he asks, where is Dillian Whyte's B sample? And it's about making the sport as safe as possible. We care about the safety of the boxers. And when things happen like Dillian Whyte's case, he asked again, where is the B sample? Now, he did bring up some interesting points. You know, UKAD was supposed to be in control of this, and they can't produce anything. So you ask Dillian Whyte, he says, hey, it's with my lawyers. I can't talk about anything because it's still under investigation. Okay, my lawyers are handling it. But then UKAD can't say anything. Then people demand to know what happened with the B sample. Where is it? What's the outcome? What's the result? It all stinks. And I'm going to tell you why. That is some good questions, though. UKAD was the one that had the information that Dillian Whyte had some type of positive test result. Okay? For some reason, it stayed with UKAD versus other reasons in other situations, other examples where it did not. You know, we have people that, like Tyson Fury, that came public. Fury, that came public. Was it Carlos Medina? That came public, right? And it was always after the fact. Okay, it was always something that happened afterwards. Like, for example, you had the situation with Eric Molina. It was Eric Molina, right? Eric Molina tested positive, or they came to him after the fact, like a year and a half later, and said, hey, yeah, you tested positive for something, so you can't train in your country. UKAD did that. Okay? Tyson and Fury, yeah, well, you tested positive for this after the fact. So they got suspended, right? With the wild boar meat and all that. That came back, right? That resurfaced. Now they're looking back into it. Dillian Whyte, okay, he tested positive for something, but then he was still allowed to fight. UKAD. Then information was leaked from UKAD as though it was going to be swept under the rug for this particular occasion or with this particular fighter. So you can understand why guys like Frank Warren, and no, he doesn't have the best interest to me. I don't think he has the best interest for Dillian Whyte because he's a Hearn fighter. Well, that may have something to do with it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you can't prove it. What he's asking is right. Right? Forget all the speculation. What he's asking is what happened to the B sample? And then why, the question I would ask myself is, why did UKAD decide to withhold this information from any other source? So whoever leaked it out was probably a person that, for one, sold that information to the public. They didn't just leak it for free. No, they leaked it for some type of cash value. That's what got Dillian Whyte into all this stuff. And then, of course, the WBC, then VADA and all that. Well, the WBC got involved and then stripped him and did all that injustice. So that was wrong on their part, right? But then again, UKAD had the information. So Why did it have to be leaked in the first place? Why wasn't it public knowledge? Like Eric Molina, like Huey Fury, like Tyson Fury, like these guys have failed tests in the past. So yes, it is a question you have to ask yourself. So I don't really necessarily think that it deals with Dillian Whyte, because he gets off with the technicality of why was it held? Sure, it's his negative test. Something came up, and whatever it was, they couldn't prove what it was, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? BS. I think that's BS. I think that UCAD is a crooked organization, and they are the ones that should be held accountable for what they're doing and what they've done to other fighters in the past. Okay? Had Dillian Whyte coming in there fighting all depressed and fat with titties. You know what I'm saying? With rolls under his chest, right? But then it had to be leaked. You know, if it was such a prestigious organization, that fight with Oscar Rivas probably wouldn't have happened. Now people are pissing and moaning, and they want O's and stuff back and want the belt back from Deontay Wilder, but then guys that don't have that position, that don't have the amount of fans like Oscar Rivas, would want that overturned, and very well much so, because there was information that was held due to drug testing. So I could see why someone would say, you know what, they're right, and we should overturn that. If Dillian Whyte wants to fight Oscar Rivas again, he can very well do so. Those type of things would make more sense to me, because UCAD dropped the ball, or should I say, yeah, they dropped the ball. So Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and Eddie Hearn have always been enemies. However, Frank Warren and Dillian Whyte had words, because Frank Warren was asking questions that did make sense. You know, and I think it's those questions that he's asking should be redirected not to Dillian Whyte, but to the organization that was supposed to be handling the Dillian Whyte case. So that's my take on it, guys. You guys tell me what you think about Frank Warren's comments. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.